Okay, we'll start now. Om, start with prayers. Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Salakya Chachurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahim Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Sri Gurum Sri Yudapadagamala Sri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sajana Raghunathanutam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Savana Lilita Sri Vishakanyutamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpadarupyacha Kripa Sindhupyacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Budala Sri Mahashri Prasad Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Budala Sri Mahashri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namne Namaste Saraswati Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachatya Vaisriti Tarine Mukam Karoti Vajalam Pangam Lenkayate Giri Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Vishwaram. So, and today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 12, verse number 26. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naranjaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudidayet Susrusha Sraddha Dhanasya Syan Mahatsevaya Vipra Vasudeva Kadaruchi Syan Mahatsevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nishevanad Sranvadam Sukata Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtana Hridi Andasto Hi Apitrani Vidhunoti Sukhrutsatam Nashtaprayeshu Apitreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Tada Rajastamo Bhava Kamalokadayascha Ye Chedayedaya Navitam Stitam Sakte Prasidati Evam Prasanna Manaso Bhagavat Bhakti Yogada Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate Vidyate Hrade Grandis Chityante Sarva Samsaya Chiyante Jasya Karmani Drashtaye Vatmanishware. So Krishnaya Vasudevaya Deviki Nandana Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Nama Nama Pangajanabhaya Nama Pangajamaline Nama Pangajanetraya Namaste Pangajankre. So we'll read the verse now. Rajarshinam Janayita Shasta Chotpatagaminam Nigrahita kaleresha bhuvo dharmasya karanat. Just one more time. Rajarshinam janahita shasta chotpadhagaminam nigrahita kaleresha bhuvo dharmasya karanat. So word to word meanings. Rajarshinam, of kings as good as sages. Janayita, producer. Shasta, chastiser. Cha and Utpatagamina, of the upstarts. Nigrahita, molester. Kale, of the quarrelsome. Yesha, this. Bhuva, of the world. Dharmasya, of religion. Karanad, on account of. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. This child will be the father of kings, who will be like sages. For world peace and for the sake of religion, he will be the chastiser of the upstarts and the quarrelsome. So, the wisest man in the world is a devotee of the Lord. The sages are called wise men, and there are different types of wise men for different branches of knowledge. Unless, therefore, the king or the head of the state is the wisest man, he cannot control all types of wise men in the state. In the line of royal succession in the family of Maharaj Yudhishthira, all the kings, without exception, were the wisest men of their times. And also it is foretold about Maharaj Parikshit and his son Maharaj Janamejaya, who was yet to be born. Such wise kings can become chastisers of upstarts and uprooters of Kali or quarrelsome elements. As will be clear in the chapters ahead, Maharaj Parikshit wanted to kill the personified Kali, who was attempting to kill a cow, the emblem of peace and religion. The symptoms of Kali are 1. Wine, 2. Women, 3. Gambling, and 4. Slaughterhouses. Wise rulers of all states should take lessons from Maharaj Parikshit in how to maintain peace and morality by subduing the upstarts and quarrelsome people who indulge in wine, illicit connection with women, gambling, and meat eating supplied by regularly maintained slaughterhouses. In this age of Kali, regular license is issued for maintaining all of these different departments of quarrel. So how can they expect peace and morality in the state? The state fathers, therefore, must follow the principles of becoming wiser by devotion to the Lord, by chastising the breaker of discipline, and by uprooting the symptoms of quarrel, as mentioned above. If we want blazing fire, we must use dry fuel. Blazing fire and moist fuel go together. Go ill together. Peace and morality can prosper only by the principles of Maharaj Parikshit and his followers. So here we are hearing the predictions by the astrologers. When at the time of King Parikshit's appearance, that is Yudhishthira Maharaj is having the sages Thaumya and Kripacharya to predict this grandchild who is going to be the heir after him, to hear his qualities. So we have heard in the past several days the very exalted predictions. King Parikshit is compared to none other than Lord Rama in upholding the truths, and to Arjuna in being a follower of Lord Krishna, then King Shibi in being very compassionate, and Randi Deva yesterday we heard from Pratibha Prabhu in charity, and Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj himself, him being a follower of the dharma. So there is it encompasses almost all Bhagavatam, we can say, his character, his description of his character. He's going to be such a greatly person. And here it is being said that he will be wise, and like the sages, and for world peace and for the sake of religion, he will be the chastiser of the upstarts and the quarrelsome. So the opening statement itself, Srila Prabhupada is saying, the wisest man in the world is a devotee of the Lord. So the sages are called wise men, and there are different types of wise men for the different branches of knowledge. So the king formerly used to seek the advice of Brahmanas in helping him rule the country, the kingdom properly. So he is himself a very saintly personality, and he will have several Brahmanas who are experts in this branch or that branch advise him. So he is himself the wisest person to be able to receive that counsel and put it in the in executing his kingly duties. So such was the character of a king in those days. Very all the kings in the succession of in that lineage of king, of dynasty of the Vrishnis, they were all very exemplary, like sages. Yudhishthira Maharaj, we know how he was dharma personified in ruling his kingdom. So he is very anxious naturally. Is he going to follow his predecessors? That is more the question. So once you follow the predecessors, then it is guaranteed that he will adhere to the same standards as his great illustrious grandfathers and great kings of that lineage. So I was listening to a lecture by Guru Maharaj, Rampad Swami Maharaj, on this verse today, and Maharaj is saying, in today's context, it is not so much about becoming a king and being an exemplary king. It is about about ourselves in developing that character who upholds dharma. So the devotees are trained in a very great lineage of our disciplic succession. That is so that Srila Prabhupada wants these leaders of society to be first-class men and women trained in proper religion and upholding dharma. So that is what was Srila Prabhupada's purpose in creating ISKCON was. So if each and every one of us follow this, practice being a link in the disciplic succession, it can bring about a change in society. Because if the state is giving license to all those practitioners of you know that is of of the business of liquor and prostitution, gambling, and maintaining slaughterhouses. These are the main reasons for quarrel in society and disturbance. So if the state is giving license for these, then how is it possible to expect peace in the society? So we in the ISKCON recognize the four pillars of dharma. That is the truthfulness, mercy or compassion, and austerities, and what is the third one? Fourth one? Truthfulness, mercy, compassion, mercy or compassion, and austerities.
Cleanliness.
Cleanliness. Thank you. Yeah, sorry, I don't even have that much in my head. So these are the four principles on which a proper, peaceful society can be established. So only if we maintain this, adhere to these four regulative principles of good living, religious living, then only we can expect a peaceful and peaceful society without disturbance and quarrel, in which a young generation can grow up. So Maharaj was glorifying how Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, as a young man, he practiced celibacy and he engaged in devotional practice, chanting almost non-stop. That is not 16, not 64, but 3 times 64 for 10 years. And he was beyond all, this one, all standards, but still he came and accepted his responsibility as a in the disciplic succession, and helped the movement started by his father Bhakti Vinod Tagore in propagating the Krishna consciousness, in establishing 64 mats and teaching the Vaishnava principles far and wide. And it is following the instruction of the great Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj that Srila Prabhupada came, risking everything to preach to the world what is Vaishnavism, what is tolerance, and truth and merciful nature of a human being, how to perceive all the living entities in the world. That is, if we have seen how many, the people, some people want to, at least in this country, they want to preach the compassion for animals, and they became that society called what is it, not vegan society. But how far they could go? They could go very, very limited, because people are saying, no, we want this, you all are too strict. So, but if one person moves, changes, feels moved by that preaching, then that slowly that change happens, one by one. So that was Srila Prabhupada's purpose in coming here and preaching these great principles of ascetic living. That is living for by the principles of dharma. So, whatever our circle of influence, whether it is at being a household, raising children, or being in a school and being a teacher, or working in a company, workplace, wherever we are, we have the option not to participate in full scale, propaganda for all these elements which create living conditions very difficult for a gentleman, as Srila Prabhupada says, and very dangerous actually. We have seen how much in our own how much ever the laws and civil laws and enforcement is prevailing. What kind of anarchy can come about? We have seen in the case of our change of power at the presidential level this year. We have seen what kind of anarchy. That is, people are not respecting the fundamental principles of morality and religion. That is the root cause of all trouble in society. So, we may be all practicing Krishna consciousness and doing, you are good in one service, that is deity service, or cooking for Krishna, or whatever little we are doing, but to realize the full potential of our our surrender to Krishna. Oh Lord, oh my God. Sorry, I lost my screen for a minute. So to realize that full potential of each and every devotee, what we are doing, we are sticking to the disciplic succession and association. That is where from we derive these qualities. And those who follow the path of religion, dharma, then those who protect dharma protects those who protect dharma. So that is a principle that which we should live by. So in following the disciplic successions very closely, that is the only way by which we can develop these qualities, Vaishnava qualities, and not get caught up in the trouble generated by those who are in the taking shelter of the material energy of the Lord. So King Parikshit was so detached. He was able to, he was going to kill the personality of Kali, who is disturbing the cow and the bull. So then he was very detached. He showed that when he got this 7-day notice, he did not cry or lament or anything. He just surrendered to Lord Krishna. That is the example. When a person is faced with death, how much equanimity he can show. That is the proof of his detachment from the material, material world. Material. How much he is, nurturing his false ego, his possessions, his worldly ties and positions and everything, you know. So King Parikshit, he was in the womb itself. He saw the personality of Godhead. We have read, we have seen already. As a mere baby in that space, Krishna showed himself to this little devotee, and that memory is always remembering, and he's looking for Krishna ever since. So attachment to Krishna, and principle of Vaishnava principles, living by the Vaishnava principles, all the qualities of sages. That is how they develop, they become sages. And we at least can imbibe a little bit of those qualities by taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam and the devotees, spiritual master, and the disciplic succession, and and be the change that you want to see in the society. Because we are so in India also, where from this the Lord Krishna is preaching the Bhagavad Gita. India has become such uh, a place of turmoil, and where women and children, they are being abused, and we have the world has seen so many atrocities performed there in our land. So all this is because we have become very negligent of the of religious principles. So this adhering to the regulative principles of freedom, that is the only way by which we can bring about some change, that we in spite of Kali's advance, we can resist, and we can maintain some equilibrium in this troubled age, only if we follow each and every one of us. So in the okay. So in the end of the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying, how can they expect peace and morality in the state? The state fathers, therefore, must follow the principles of becoming wiser by devotion to the Lord, by chastising the breaker of discipline, and by uprooting the symptoms of quarrel, as mentioned above. If we want blazing fire, we must use dry fuel. Blazing fire and moist fuel go ill together. Peace and morality can prosper only by the principles of Maharaj Parikshit and his followers. So yesterday, Pratibhahu Prabhu was saying how the just by becoming a devotee of the Lord, all these qualities are naturally developing in a devotee. So only by taking shelter of the Lord, we can cultivate those qualities which are desirable, and check the growth of unwanted elements in society. Then only we can be empowered to stop these elements. Only when we are empowered, we can stop these elements of disturbance in society. So by dry fuel, we mean the very strong, that is the devotional merit of the citizens. That is only by that we can nullify these other elements of which spread darkness and gloom in society, and give happiness to all. Otherwise, if we do not have those qualities ourselves, how can we stop these kind of disturbances in society? So only by becoming very, very Krishna conscious, very religious, we can control the progress of Kali and have a peaceful life in this day and age, and for our children. So with that, I conclude my words. It's already 7:32. Sorry, I've exceeded the time a little bit. Please, any questions or comments, welcome. Thank you all for your patience, and I hope I did some justice to this.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you.
Hare Krishna, all glories.
Thank you for the wonderful, normally the way you speak, PhD professor, etc. You always speak very nicely.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I was, I'm not talking what you spoke, against you, but I'm telling you what is inevitable in the current situation.
Yeah.
Even though we are talking no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex, no meat eating, etc. The government, I have seen in India, especially in Karnataka, I don't know many other countries, states, etc. But my observation was, when the COVID situation came in, every business is closed. Every business was closed. Do you know what is the first business which during COVID opened? Was the liquor.
Liquor shop, yes.
Why? It is not that people want, maybe people want or not, doesn't matter. The government promoted because there was no money in the government. So it's really, it's unfortunate. What I mean to say is, even the government, Parikshit Maharaj was there to even say no for all this.
Yeah.
And now today's government is, even though people don't want it or want it, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Government opens the liquor and starts selling it.
Yes.
And today's news is, they are telling that, people are, chastising, blaspheming the drunkards. But guess what? Because of drunkards, government is making money.
Yes, Prabhu. I mean, I heard about it also in Kerala. Is only worse than Karnataka, Prabhu. I heard that for people who have withdrawal symptoms, they even reached some measure of some quantity of liquor to their homes. This COVID times. Such was their sympathetic response to those who suffered from.
No, I have no answer for this, because when we say as a devotee, no for all this, and then, going to the government himself is promoted. What can we speak to the government? Hey, can you stop liquor? No meat eating, no intoxication. Can we do that? I don't know. So this is really difficult. That's what I was.
That's what Maharaj was saying. In his, I have heard him say this many times. Even if 5% of the world's population take to say become devotees, it will make a perceptible change in the world arena. So why is one person going to make a change? We may all ask. See, Srila Prabhupada was one person without any support material who came here and established ISKCON, and now there are millions of devotees, Prabhu. So each one should take, this for a challenge. I should do this because I know when my children grow up, I don't want all these dangerous elements in society How will I raise my child knowing the kind of risk it is to live in a society? Just going to school. And in fact, in Western universities and in America also, in Oxford and Harvard and all, they serve liquor to the students. They allow the students to have liquor. Is that something that we should promote, at the school level? So we don't want to, even send our child to that, even though they are big names. He can study at home and get whatever excellence he needs. This is the kind of threat that is waiting for our younger generations. So imagine, I mean, driving in under the influence, there are so many accidents out there. But being a host, and if you serve liquor to your guest who has to drive home afterwards, you won't do that. So that is also a crime. Similarly, we can stop it at home. The use of all these unwanted things, and bring up our children in a, so same way, at least for our own safety and happiness, happiness, yes, happiness in living in this world, we should practice. And that is the need for there is a there is such a need for Krishna consciousness to spread. That is the only fuel which can put down all these kind of unwanted the elements. Of course, we do not stand a chance. It is only 10,000 years more. I mean, we can foresee, because the rate at which government is supporting, taking their cards, they are, at the backbone of the government is at the backbone of all black money, and they will put out all the rules. And we have seen how many leaders have been brought to light, that he took that any project of government of India, the previous minister is caught hold of for taking money, right? It's same way. So they have no respect for truthfulness. They are just sitting there, with their hands beneath the desk. So at least, some, if another generation grows up with respect for the religion and God and regulative principles, and that we can pray that it will take us somewhere. And the only solution is to get out of this cycle of birth and death. We cannot expect on this earth anything, any lasting peace or happiness in the material world. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Please
Yes,
accept my humble obeisances, our Lord Shri Prabhupada and Gurudev. I feel very fortunate to hear from you, Mataji, today.
Hare Krishna. Oh, please accept my humble.
Humility really inspires me. I pray to the Lord that one day I develop, that kind of humility.
Oh my Krishna.
I'm not sure how you are handling at home, but being a, I know at home you are only one devotee in the house, right? Household, and the others will do all, non-vegetarian and all other things, and they will continue to whatever they were to do. But you are very, very, consistently, your focus is not shifted. You are consistently, you have made it your decision which way you are going, and that's very inspiring to me.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. But at least I was brought up by my mother and grandmother, who had so much faith in Bhagavatam and Ramayanam were there, daily recital. So I have that same faith. That is the only thing I know will sustain in the long run. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
very
Mother.
much for your appreciation.
And I wish those days will come back for you, where you can sit in front of the altar and read Bhagavatam.
Hare Krishna. Hare
I
Krishna.
wish that for you. Thank you so much, Mother.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So we can stop Raj Prabhu. It's already 7:42. Thank you very much, everyone, for your blessings. Thank you.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthiraj